Alright, good morning. Tommy here with Crooked River Woodworks and Forge on our Urban Homestead YouTube channel. I guess it's kind of taken over with the knife making stuff here lately, but it's cold outside. Everybody's got the snow here on the East Coast, so we're staying warm and getting some stuff done down here in the shop. Yesterday I ground out this blade. I'm gonna get ready to put the handle material on it. So I got some wood laid out here that I'm going to use. I already had taken, well, what I use here is carpet tape, and I learned this trick from a guy that's on a certain TV show. I bought his DVDs, and it's a lot of helpful, great information on there. Use this carpet tape, cut it into little pieces. So I've got 2 pieces already in there. Clamped it down with my vise and made it secure. So I'll put a couple more pieces on here and clamp it here, and then that way when I go to drill my holes, everything will line up and stay true throughout the process. And I even add a little clamp to it just to make sure that it doesn't move around on me. What I'm going to do here, I've got to get that piece secured together, and then I got to cut my my little brass pins. So I use a piece of 303 brass, and I cut it with a hacksaw, and I get those things all ready to go. I taper the ends just so that it slides through the holes a little bit easier, helps things line up. So let me go ahead and get this stuff all started. When I got everything ready to go, I'll be right back with you. Alright, so I got everything secured. Put my little extra clamp on there. Got my little brass pins ready to go. So actually, as I drill a hole, I'll pin it just so make sure even more so that things don't move around on me. Nothing worse than getting a handle done and then you go glue it up and you can't get the pins in there. So you just want to make sure that alignment is all trued up and as best as you can get it. So with that being said, I'll go over to the drill press here and drill some holes and show you how we do that. Alright, so here we go. Got my little clamp on there. I'm ready to go. So I like to start with this center one, kind of get everything lined up and pin that guy, and do the back one, then take this off, move it to the back, and do the front one. So here we go. Take your time, no need to plow right through there. Not bad. Let's see if I can get this pin in without pounding it, but that's usually not the case. So I'll be right back. Alright, so that was a little bit more of a tighter fit than I like. That was a brand new piece of 3/16 rod, and I don't know, I see some inconsistencies with this stuff at times. Sometimes the pin drops right in through the hole. Other times, like this time, I had to pound and beat that thing in there, so not real happy about that. So I might have to come back and see if I can hog out that hole just a tad bit when we go to put this thing together, because sometimes that makes it difficult to put it together once you got everything glued up. With that being said, I'm ready to drill this next hole, so here we go. see how this one goes. And again, I'm not liking it. Something just does not feel right. So I'll be back to you here shortly. Alright, I'm going to show you what I ended up doing. I went ahead and drilled the last hole as is, and came back to this guy and took it apart. I don't know if you can see that, how much that pin has bent because it's not properly going through there, and by pounding it, this brass is so soft it's twisting around. So I'm going to knock this back out of there, and I'm going to try a different piece of rod and see if it's got a better fit before I start messing with these holes. And let me do that and I'll be back. Alright, so after that little mishap of issues, which just goes to show you, you do stuff over and over and over again, and it's never going to work out the same way every time. So what? I don't really know what happened there. I put a different brand new drill bit on, 3/16. Re-drilled the holes. A little bit of material came out, but the holes, I still couldn't get the pin to go through those holes the way that it normally does. So I ended up, hogging them out just a little bit, giving it a movement just to take a little bit more material off, and I was able to get them in. So basically, we're there. Still not 100% happy with the way that all went down, but everything looks like it's going to line up pretty good. So at this point, what I do now is I will go over to the bandsaw and I'll cut a real close profile to what this handle is going to be like at the end, and that way I'll trim off all this, and all this, and save myself some grinding. And I've also found that getting the handle closer to what it's going to be when it's finished, when I actually glue it up, saves a lot of time and effort on the actual grinding when you're getting to the part of having the handle done. When you're using the epoxy and you do all this grinding, it heats this stuff up and it could let your epoxy loose, which has happened to me. And it's not a good thing, because now you got all that stuff glued together and the epoxy's letting loose in certain spots, so the handle's lifting apart, and it's just not a good thing. So with that being said, I'll go over to the bandsaw here and cut this profile out. Alright, so for this portion, I got a little Ryobi bandsaw. You can get these things at Home Depot. I think it's under $100. I really don't remember. If it's over 100, it's not much over 100. It does okay, but I will tell you right now that this blade it's pretty much on its last leg. So you're going to hear a lot of squeaking, a lot of smoke coming out of this thing. I probably need to just go ahead and bite the bullet and buy a new blade next time I'm over there. So we'll get by with this one, but probably want a sharp blade when we're doing this in the future. Sometimes I just plain give up on trying to make it a certain radius. And I'll just go ahead and grind the rest of that off. I like to do this just so I can get some material falling away as I'm cutting. that's all I'm going to do for now with this. I'll pop this handle off, and then I like to make a nice cut across here to get rid of this excess. You want to make sure that you always leave enough meat on your scales here so that you got some room to work with when you're making your taper on the front end of this guy. So that's where I'm at for now. I will take this apart, make that cut, and be back to you. Alright, so I decided after I talking to my customer that we're going to acid etch that blade, so that thing's in there soaking right now. But here's where I'm at with the handles right now. It's real important to make sure that you put this little taper on before you mount these to the handle or to the actual blade stock, because once you get this on, it's next to impossible to grind that and not scratch up your blade. So you want to make sure you do that beforehand, and I don't care what kind of tape you put on there, you're going to end up scratching it up. So just be cognizant of that. I have done it before where I glued these things on, and right as I'm starting to put my clamps on, I realized that I forgot to do that. You got to pull this thing apart before that epoxy sets up, and it's kind of a lot of trouble. Yes, I learned that also the hard way. So basically, this thing is ready to go. The knife will probably come out of the acid in the morning. I like to get a good 12-hour soak and find that looks the best. You never know what this steel is going to do, though, so that's the cool thing about the acid etching. It's kind of, each one is its own personal kind of personality. So that being said, don't forget, like our YouTube channel, Urban Homestead. This is Crooked River Woodworks and Forge signing off for today, and we'll catch you next time. I'll wrap this up for you and show you how I profile the handle. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. We'll see how it goes. All right. Bye-bye.